Rome kept a secret. For centuries, locked in a stone vault beneath the Temple of Jupiter, the most sacred building in the Roman world, there were books, prophecy books, written by a woman nobody could fully identify, in a language that required specialist priests to interpret. The Roman Senate consulted them only in moments of absolute national crisis, plague, war, the collapse of the empire as they knew it. The contents were never made public, only the instructions that came from them, only what Rome's leaders chose to tell you, and then someone destroyed them, twice. Let me tell you the origin story first, because it is, genuinely, one of the strangest acquisition stories in the ancient world. A woman approaches the Roman king Tarquinius Superbus. She is carrying 9 books, books of prophecy, she tells him, containing the fate of Rome. She names her price. He refuses, too expensive. She burns 3 of the books, right there, in front of him, and offers the remaining 6, at the same price as the original 9. He refuses again. She burns 3 more, and offers the last 3, at the same price she asked for all 9. He buys them. This story is not legend, it is documented in Pliny, in Varro, in Dionysius of Halicarnassus. Multiple independent ancient sources record the same account. The 3 remaining books were kept in a stone chest beneath the Temple of Jupiter on the Capitoline Hill. A special college of priests, the Quindecimviri, were appointed specifically to guard and interpret them. 15 men. Their only function was these books, and here is the detail I kept coming back to. The public never saw the oracles themselves, only the prescribed ritual response, the rites, the instructions, what Rome needed to do to appease whatever the prophecy had identified, not the prophecy, the response to the prophecy. Rome's leaders controlled what the books said the people needed to do, and nobody outside that college of 15 priests ever verified what the books actually said. Now, here is where it gets complicated. 83 BC, the Temple of Jupiter burns, the original books gone, in the fire. What Rome did next tells you exactly how valuable those books were considered to be. The Senate sent envoys across the entire Mediterranean world to reconstruct them from memory, to Erythrae, to Ilium, to Sicily, to Africa. They collected around 1,000 verses, authenticated, or claimed to be authenticated, by the priests. But here is the problem nobody wanted to say out loud. Nobody could verify what was original and what was added during reconstruction. The reconstruction took years. It crossed dozens of sources. It passed through the hands of the same priesthood that had always controlled the interpretation. And then, 44 BC, Julius Caesar, a Sibylline prophecy surfaced, conveniently, claiming that only a king could defeat Parthia. Caesar was the most powerful man in Rome. The prophecy was interpreted by his enemies as evidence that Caesar was seeking the crown. He was assassinated weeks later. This is documented by Suetonius. The prophecy existed, the interpretation was political, and only the priests and the senators who controlled them had access to the full text. That is not a prophecy system. That is a political instrument dressed as divine revelation, and it worked for 500 years. 400 AD, Roman General Flavius Stilicho orders the remaining books burned deliberately. The fire in 83 BC was accidental. This one was not. No explanation given. No public record of why a Roman general decided that a 500-year-old collection of prophecy needed to be gone. Just gone. What survives today is not the original collection. It is not even the reconstructed collection. What survives is 14 books written between roughly 150 BC and 400 AD by Jewish and Christian writers who appropriated the Sibylline name to make their own theology look ancient. The trick they used was elegant: predict events that had already happened accurately, then predict the future from that point forward. Scholars today can date each book precisely by finding the timestamp where the accurate predictions stop and the guesswork begins. 3 layers of appropriation: pagan prophecy, co-opted by Jewish writers, then co-opted again by Christian writers, each layer presenting itself as older than it was, and early church fathers quoted these texts as genuine pagan confirmation of Christian truth. Clement of Alexandria, Theophilus of Antioch, both referred to the Sibyl as a legitimate prophetess, not knowing or not caring that what they were reading was a carefully constructed forgery. Scattered through these surviving texts, there are passages, apocalyptic passages, judgment against Rome, the fall of Babylon, divine reckoning against the nations, passages that scholars say echo, with uncomfortable precision, the imagery of the book of Revelation. Whether Revelation drew on these texts, or whether both drew on a shared older tradition that neither fully identifies, nobody can say for certain. So, what did the original books actually say? The honest answer is we don't know. They're gone. Everything we know about the originals comes through references in other texts. Cicero, Livy, Dio Cassius, describing how the books were used, never what they contained. The rites they prescribed are documented. The oracles themselves are not. Every reference we have to actual oracle content comes through the filter of priests who interpreted them, senators who decided what to share, and historians who recorded what they were told. There is no unmediated access to the original text. There never was, even when the books existed. And that is the detail that stayed with me. 500 years. A college of 15 priests, a locked vault, a controlled interpretation system, a reconstruction after the fire that nobody could verify, and then a deliberate second burning with no explanation given. The question the evidence keeps returning to is a simple one. What was in those books that made them worth guarding that carefully? And what was in them that made someone decide they needed to be gone? Here is what we actually know. Rome kept prophecy books secret for 500 years, consulted them only in crisis, never showed the public the contents, only the prescribed response, controlled the narrative completely. The original books were destroyed in a fire. Rome spent years and considerable resources reconstructing them from memory across the entire Mediterranean. Nobody could verify what was original and what was added. What survives today isn't the original collection at all. It's a later set of texts, written by Jewish and Christian writers, appropriating the Sibylline name to smuggle their own theology into Roman culture. Documented, acknowledged by scholars, not a theory, and the last genuine remnant of the reconstructed originals, whatever they actually contained, was deliberately burned by a Roman general around 400 AD. No explanation given, no public record of why. The files are gone. What replaced them is documented forgery. What was in the original vault, we will probably never know. Thanks for watching Unburied Remnants. If the file was worth opening, please like, comment, and subscribe. It genuinely helps. Stay curious. Keep digging. The rabbit hole goes deeper.